Hi, welcome. Happy prep day. So I'm excited. I've been trying to implement this for a few weeks now and getting better and better. And this week, I'm excited that I'm able to implement it. It's prep day, meaning those of us that celebrate the biblical Sabbath in Leviticus, or I mean, well, not in Genesis, in the beginning, the Sabbath. That on the seventh day Sabbath, the sixth day is prep day. Kind of also like when the Israelites were in the wilderness, and they would collect double on Friday, the day before the Sabbath. They would collect double the amount of manna, so and that it would get them all the way through until Sunday. And so that's kind of the idea behind it, is we prepare double. So I am making breakfast burritos and regular burritos, and I'm doing a double batch because I'm making a batch for our daughter who just had a baby and her family. So, and I've had so many people ask, and so I'm going to be rehydrating some freeze-dried eggs. So I need my scissors. There we go. So let's see, freeze-dried egg. So I usually do 1-to-1, and this is 2.5 dozen, and I want 2 dozen. So I'm gonna just start out with a cup to a cup so that I can get a good ratio. Make sure it's not too watery, too dry. 1 second, I have to stir. I cooked up the meat for the breakfast burritos, ground beef, and this is for the regular burritos, ground beef, 2 pounds each, so 4 pounds total. I used my homemade beef sausage, breakfast sausage mix, and I used it all up, so I have to make more. So I'll probably do a video making that because it is delicious, and especially for my friends who eat biblically. It's awesome because you can have breakfast sausage, and we usually make patties, but with this I make the breakfast sausage with the breakfast sausage spices and then crumble it with eggs, scrambled eggs, and cheese for Rusty, not for me. So this is just taco seasoning. I bought it. I do want to start making my own, but so I'm going to go 2 cups and then 2 cups water. It's so cool looking. It's real crystally. I don't know if you can see. It's real crystally. And these are homegrown eggs. These are eggs that I raised here. So I'm going to do 2 cups. Okay, I'm going to stir that in. I'm probably going to pause a few times so that you don't have to watch me do really tedious things like waiting for this. This takes a couple of minutes to rehydrate, so I don't want you to have to sit through, but I want you to be able to see the process. So just 1-to-1. I'm going to do another. I just realized I put a wet. Huh. I think that's actually good. So that's probably about, so a cup's probably a dozen. And it's super simple in rehydrating it because it's 1-to-1 ratio. Some of the other ones, they're still, in how much water, but this is super easy, 1-to-1. And it's so cool because once you get this and it totally rehydrates and you get it mixed up, it looks exactly like the scrambled eggs did before I freeze dried them. They just look like regular scrambled eggs. Should have crushed all the, let me get a spoon and crush all those. So I'll go ahead and pause it, do a few things. I've got to grate some cheese. You don't need to sit through me grating any cheese. But so I'm just going to work this a little bit, get all the lumps out of it, and grate some cheese. So I'll be back in a few seconds. For you, it'll just be a blip. For me, it'll be a few minutes. So I'll see if my little handy, well, I'm just going to push the pause. Okay, so I've let it sit for a little bit, soak in. I've whipped it. It seems to work well using the whisk. There's still a few chunks, but kind of like you'd see if you had, with regular with yolk. I'll show you here. So there's the scrambled eggs. I'm going to let it sit for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to pour it in and cook it. I have grated the cheese, and I have the breakfast sausage, the cheese. We'll have the eggs and tortillas, and then I also cooked the taco meat, so it's here. And then I will be also cooking black beans for the regular burritos. We do super simple. Well, we start out super simple. Rusty eats his pretty much meat, bean, cheese, or meat, egg, cheese. The last time I made the breakfast burritos, I had hash browns in it, but I don't have any, and that's okay. Don't really need the potato anyway. So it'll just be egg, meat, cheese, and then I spruce mine up with avocado and onions and all kinds of stuff. But Rusty likes his plain, so I make them plain, and then I jazz mine up. So, all right, I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to go over and do it. We're right over here, so I'll have my back turned towards you now and then. I just cooked the taco meat in there. I cooked the sausage meat first, the taco meat, and I'm just going to throw the eggs in. Use the beef fat for keep them from sticking. Hopefully, that's the thing about cast iron. Stuff sticks. Hold on just a sec. Whip it a little bit more, and then I'll pour it in, cook it. So I just got done with reading this next week's Torah portion. Well, this week's Torah portion, and we got behind. And then I'm gonna try real hard to get next week's done early. But because I've been real behind, I've been having major technical challenges. Okay. So you'll see that these scrambled eggs are going to turn out just like regular scrambled eggs, and they've been dehydrated. Let's see. Did I put a date on it? Shocked I didn't put a date on it. I better go look. But I know that I did these freeze-dried eggs just a couple of months ago. Yes, 4/24. So did it in April, the end of April. Okay. All my utensils here. So it's sticking, but it's going to. So anyway, I'll get my Torah portions done. This is week 36. And it's just getting so, it's so interesting because I never would have thought that Leviticus and Numbers would be fascinating. And I mean, just when you drilled in and see where they were at, what they were doing, it's just so fascinating because, you know, a year, just a little over a year after they left, then they celebrated the Passover out in the wilderness, and they had all the tabernacle and everything ready, and they were putting it together. And who's in charge of what whose division, is of the Levites is in charge of what parts of the tabernacle. It's so fascinating. And now they're at the point where when the cloud lifts, they move, they pack up and they go. And when it settles, they stop. And we just had where they murmured and grumbled and complained about how wonderful it was back in Egypt, and some of them were taken out. They got quail, and then the father's anger ran hot. So, and Miriam just had ended up with leprosy for speaking evil against Moses's wife, or against Moses because of his wife. So that's where we're at right now. So it's just so fascinating to be slowing down and reading chunks and learning about what it was doing, what it prophesied about in the future, what it accomplished at the time. It's just so fascinating. All the layers upon layers. It's like digging up buried treasure. So I'm not going to want you to have to sit through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on pause, and once the eggs are all done, I'll come back on and show you. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the moment you've been waiting for, scrambled eggs. My husband is an egg man. I mean, he can eat like 6 eggs on the weekends and for breakfast. And so he says that these eggs that have been freeze dried and then reconstituted, he says they taste better than regular, just plain scrambled eggs. And I think what I'm going to do with the rest that's left, I have about this much left, well, at least with some of it, I think I was going to make egg salad for this weekend. But instead of boiling up eggs, has anyone ever made egg salad with scrambled eggs? I don't see why we couldn't. It's the same thing. It's cooked eggs with, mayonnaise, pickles, however you make yours, mustard. So interesting. Might have to experiment some more. One sec. And make scrambled egg salad. So now it is time to assemble these babies. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to make some with cheese, some without. I stopped eating dairy about a month ago, and it really has helped my gut. So I'm feeling a lot better, less bloat, less pain, indigestion and stuff. So let me get some plates and start assembling these puppies. So all I'm gonna do is take just a spoonful of egg, and this one is the breakfast sausage, a spoonful, and I'll put the breakfast sausage recipe in. It is awesome. So like I said, especially for my friends who eat biblically, because this way you can, everything's made with pork, and this way you can make your breakfast sausage with ground beef. Super simple and really delicious. Rusty, it was a hard, although it wasn't, I stopped eating pork, and Rusty still did, and I didn't. It was, that's his business, and then he stopped eating pork. I am not a good burrito maker. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat these up real quick. They'll go together easier, heat it up. So I'm going to put you on pause again and come back. Okay, they'll be a lot more pliable now, easier to work with. So anyway, with the Torah portions, or no, that's what I wanted to talk about was, well, Torah portions always just so fascinating. Like I said, when you actually sit down and slow down and read and put the puzzle pieces together of, who is related to who and who belongs to who and how they got that position. And it's so fascinating. So this one's going to be mine with no cheese. But what I wanted to talk about was prep day. So, like I said, this is something I'm just learning and trying to implement into my life, where I'm, prepare on Friday for the Sabbath so that I don't have to cook, so that I can rest. And it's not that I don't love cooking. I don't love having to cook. But Rusty also, it's his only day for him to have, a nice big breakfast, and he loves breakfasts. So, Saturday and Sunday are his only days to have a big breakfast, because he goes to work much too early and doesn't have a breakfast. Um, so, I wanted him to have something good, and so we did these breakfast burritos, and he really likes them. And then we decided, we might as well make dinner burritos too. I was going to be making a chicken and tuna casserole, chicken casserole for my daughter's family, and a tuna casserole for ours, but I had to be realistic, and that it's just a little more than I'm up to right now. So, and I don't have all the ingredients. So we're going to make this work. I figure if I have breakfast burritos, it'll be a burrito day. So we'll have breakfast burritos for breakfast, and then we'll have probably egg salad for lunch, and then regular burritos for dinner. And tonight, I always make Shabbat, because it starts at sundown. And so I always try to always make Rusty a, he really likes ribeyes. And so, same place that we get the ground beef, we get ribeye steaks. I couldn't tell you if they were great or not, because I don't, those steaks aren't that big of a deal to me. So I couldn't tell if they're yummy or not. Actually, I did take a bite, and I mean, they're very tender and easy to chew, and so they're good. So I try to always, he'll either make him ribeye or chicken wings. Those are two of his favorites. Although last night, when he saw that I was making chicken pot pie, he got very excited. So that's also one of his favorites. So anyway, so I'd like to know other people's, what do you do to prepare for Shabbat? I've picked my house up. I've got some laundry I need to fold and put away, but I've got some time still. And let me tell you, for those of you that don't observe the Sabbath and actually take it as a day of rest, not running to a church and going out to lunch and doing all the things, but really resting, I really highly recommend it. My life, our lives, Rusty's and my life changed dramatically when we actually started observing the Sabbath on Saturday. It was very, very noticeable that um, it's a huge blessing. And we both look forward to it. We look forward to just getting able to relax. We read the word. And so that's another thing. What all those of you that observe the Sabbath, what do you guys do on your Sabbath? Those of you with kids, man, we had the grands last weekend before. I don't know how you with children. Whew, I don't know how you guys. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, once you get the habits down, though, I'm sure it's easy. But man, I was running like crazy trying to run after my grands. Um, and I didn't get a whole lot of rest on the Sabbath. um, but so yeah, just if I'd love to hear other people's, what do you do? I would love to get a thing going where, prep meals, Sabbath prep meals, man, to where we have like where we can go to and like a playlist, do a playlist online where like this will be Sabbath uh, prep meals, tacos or breakfast burritos and burritos. But if you could share some ideas, and I think last I have a corned beef, like a corned beef in a crock pot, that's an option. All crock pot, roast beef, any of that in crock pot, that's easy. Um, this time of year it gets tough though, I guess more salads because of the heat. So, because, I would do a lot of crock pot and soups and stuff, but not this time of year where it's getting super hot. And I hear that there's a major heat wave going on back on the East Coast right now. So, and we're supposed to be up to 101 tomorrow, I think. So, all right. Well, I'm not going to bore you as I put these together, but I really wanted to show the reconstituting of the eggs. And because that was something that people asked for, is how do you reconstitute it and what's it look like and so on and so forth. So there's these. And yeah, I think we're going to go and wish you all a wonderful prep day and a blessed Sabbath. And leave some comments about some of the meals you prepare on prep day to get you through the weekend, because I think it'd be really helpful to a lot of us that, are just learning how to do this. I think people would love to have ideas on how to prepare so that we can truly rest through the Sabbath like we're supposed to and spend time with Him and not have to focus on cooking and cleaning and stuff. So be blessed. See you next time. Love you all. Bye.